Hi, so tonight I'm going to show you how to integrate your Google site with your Google Classroom. I've created an example lesson which you are more than welcome to make copies of the different resources. So I'm going to go ahead and give you a preview of what the lesson is. So it's on ecosystems, and I've told the students that they should complete the assignment below to learn about symbiotic relationships in ecosystems and learn how scientists are helping coral reefs recover. So in my class, there are 3 levels of assignments. There are must-do, there are should-do, and aspire-to assignments. So if you want to follow along, you can join my Google Classroom code. It's here, so you can kind of submit your work if you would like. So for my must-do assignment, they first should watch the video below on exploring ecosystems coral reef symbiosis. I was able to embed the YouTube video directly into my Google site. And then I tell them to complete the form on symbiotic relationships here. And so they can complete it directly in my Google site, or they can click this and open it open it in another window or tab, and then complete it this way. So those are their must-do assignments. The should-do assignments are to watch the video about the story of Frank the coral, which I, again, have embedded in my Google site to learn about coral bleaching. And then I've played around with ways to embed a copy of questions as well as a link to an article about the creative ways that scientists are helping coral reefs recover. So in this page of my website, I've actually linked the document with the questions, and I've told my students that they need to make a copy of the document, rename it with their name and the file name, and then answer the questions using evidence from the article, and then attach the document to the Google Classroom assignment in the button below. And so this is where I'm integrating my Google Classroom and my Google site. Personally, I think that this layout is much more appealing as a student and makes it really clear as to what the assignments are, what the best work process is. And then the last level of assignment is my aspire to. And so this is for students to get out of the house, take pictures of different ecosystem interactions that are described in each of these slides. So the slideshow is linked here. Again, students are told that they need to make a copy of the slideshow, follow the directions that are on each of the slides, and then attach to the Google Classroom assignment here. So I'm going to show you how to do that, but I'm also going to show you what this assignment looks like in the Google Classroom and kind of give you a visual as to why I think a Google site is a little bit better. So let's get started making this page again. So I want to create a new page for this unit under my units or my assignments tab. You have a couple different options. You have limitless options for how you want to lay them out. I've given you 2 example layouts. The first one being Hyperdoc, where all of your assignments for any given lesson are in one document with hyperlinks, or layout option number 2 that I've broken down by my 3 assignment types. So my must-do assignments that all students must do, my should-do assignments, and my aspire-to assignments. So I'm going to go ahead and make a copy of my unit layout option number 2. I can do that by coming over here, click on these 3 dots, and clicking duplicate page. I can then double click in that page and rename it. I'm going to go ahead and copy that. Here, I like having the week or the dates that we're going to do that here. And then I can begin to delete some of the old things from that template. So I will pause the video and get rid of some of this old stuff so I can add in the new component. Okay, so now I'm going to begin to add some of this new material for this assignment. I'm going to have my students watch the video on exploring ecosystems, coral reef symbiosis. I want to make sure that that video is embedded in this site. So I come over here, click on YouTube, and then you can either, if you have it open in another tab, you can copy and paste the URL directly into that search bar and it will find it. And then I need to, as I said, I want it to be right below that, so I need to drag this up. That horizontal blue line tells you where your new row is going to be added. I'm going to add in a Google form from my Google Drive, and I want students to access it right here from their Google site. I can resize it to be the size that I want, and then that tells them that that shows them these are the 2 assignments they need to do for their must-do assignments. I like having this horizontal divider here so that they know that, hey, that's all of the components, or that's all of the videos or worksheets that go with this part of the lesson. For the should-do assignments, I'm going to have them read an article and watch another video. So let me grab that information. Okay, so for my should-do assignment, my students should watch this video about the story of Frank the coral, and then they're going to read an article, and then they're going to answer questions about that and submit their answers to the Google Classroom. So here's how I'm going to do this. I'm going to go ahead and first I want to embed that video. So I'm going to search in YouTube, Frank the coral, embed this. I'm going to move this section directly below so they can see that. I want them to read an article. So there's 2 ways you could do this. You could highlight this text, link the text by pasting in the URL, and it will then open it there. You can also do double click over here and click on this embed. You can paste the URL there. Oops, that's not what I wanted. I wanted to paste this URL. There we go. And it will give you the option. Do you want the whole page, or do you just want a preview? I'm going to just go for just the preview. Why not? And then I want to add in a little spacer. Google Sites doesn't have a spacer, but they can they can put in a placeholder instead. And that just allows me to give a little bit of spatial separation so that my next assignment isn't right crammed next to the next one. So I'm going to go ahead and share with my students their assignment, which is answering these questions from the article. You can resize it this way. Now, one of the things that I will say is with Google Sites, your students can get a kind of a preview of this document, and then they can double click here to make it a full-size document. You'll notice that in this bar up here, it says edit. I want to make it so that they can only view this. So one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to delete that and enter a different way. I'm going to go back to the embed function. I'm going to type in I'm going to paste in the document, and then I'm going to change the back end to say view. That way, when they click on it, students will only be able to view it. They will not be editing your master copy. So now I know that they will be watching a video, they'll be reading an article, they'll be answering questions on the article once they've been forced to make a copy. And now I want them to attach their document to the Google Classroom assignment. This makes it really convenient for me to access all of my students' submissions in one spot and grade them. So how this works is you will go over to your Google Classroom. You will actually create your assignment. So I went ahead and typed in all of the must do, should do, and aspire to assignment directions here. I linked everything that's on my Google site page. And as you can tell, it doesn't do as great of a job with giving students the sequence, but it's all here, and that's okay. Now, once you've created your assignment and it's active, you want to come over here and click copy link. This is the link that you are going to use in the button function here. So you'll paste that link. I try and make it really clear. I'm going to say submit your work here. I'm going to resize it so it all fits, and then drag it around so that there you can see it right below their work. Again, if you wanted to kind of add some space to this, you could add a placeholder and resize it and drag it around so that students could maybe work kind of counterclockwise or in a clockwise fashion. That is how you can integrate with your Google Classroom here. So if I go ahead and show you what this looks like for the students, they will see maybe the title of your assignment or your theme for the week. You could have the dates there. This would be my objective, my different type of assignments. Now they can answer this Google form directly in here, as well as they can watch this video directly in this Google site. They also have the option to open this into to a larger window. I've showed you two ways to link, either by attaching it to text or giving them, embedding the URL and giving them a preview. And then using the button function so that they're going to the Google Classroom. Once they click that, they go to this assignment. Now, here is a visual example of what a Google Classroom assignment would look like. This has all of the same directions as on my Google Classroom. It even has the Aspire to assignment, which I haven't shown you yet. But the reason I like having it in a Google site is that it's much more visually appealing. I can add in different color backgrounds. I can add in this divider line here so that it's breaking up the assignments for them. And they're not having to go back and forth between opening a video, opening a different a tab or anything like that. And it's all in one place. It's very visually appealing. I personally like that, but I love the fact that I can force them to submit their work in one location, and I can make it easy on them so that they're submitting the correct work to the correct assignment by using that button function. So my assignments will be live for you. If you want to join my Google Classroom, it will be, I will add the Google Classroom here, code here in a moment. So you could kind of play around with this as a student. I will also allow you to make copies of these article questions. I got it from sciencenewsforstudents.org, so I can't take credit for it. That's also why I'm giving it away freely. So feel free to play around with this, but this is how you can integrate your Google site with your Google Classroom and help your students be organized and help you funnel all of your student assignments into one Google Classroom and speed up your grading. I'm going to show you in my next video a quick tip for grading in Google Classroom, and I will also make a quick video showing you how I made these two different unit layouts in case you're interested.